The city lights of Chicago are shimmering through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Caleb's apartment. It looks like a scene from a movie. On his desk, there's a $60 candle burning, a minimalist mechanical keyboard, and a leather journal that cost more than his dinner. Caleb picks up his phone, adjusts the angle of his coffee cup, and snaps a photo. Caption: "Midnight grind. Building the empire." He posts it. He watches the likes roll in, and then he sits there in the dark. The truth? Caleb hasn't actually done any work in 3 hours. He spent 40 minutes picking the right lo-fi playlist. He spent 20 minutes lighting the candle and arranging his pens. He spent an hour scrolling through other people's aesthetic work vlogs to get into the mood to work. Caleb is a romanticizer. He is in love with the idea of being successful, but he is terrified of the process of it. He has turned his life into a gallery for others to view, while the actual substance of his life is hollow. He is performing the role of a high achiever, but he is failing the audition. The soft life movement told him that if he just made his surroundings beautiful, his productivity would follow. They lied to him. Romanticization is a sedative. It makes you feel like you've arrived when you haven't even started the engine. Tonight, Caleb blows out the candle. He realizes that the vibe is his enemy. He is done pretending. It's time to stop romanticizing the life he wants and start disciplining the life he has. The first thing Caleb does is perform a sensory purge. He realizes that his obsession with aesthetics has made him mentally soft. He can only work when the lighting is perfect, when the room is quiet, and when he has his favorite drink. He has made his success dependent on external factors. That isn't power. That's fragile. Caleb strips the room. He puts the candle in a drawer. He clears the desk until it is nothing but a flat, gray surface. He wants his environment to be as boring as possible. Why? Because when the room is boring, the work becomes the only interesting thing in it. He adopts the friction-first philosophy. In the Romantic era, Caleb tried to make everything easy and flowy. Now he seeks the friction. He realizes that growth only happens when you are uncomfortable. He starts taking cold showers at 5:30 a.m., not because he likes them, but because it's a daily contract with himself that says, "I do things I don't want to do." He looks at his social media. He realizes that every time he posts a "study with me" or a gym fit photo, he is leaking his ambition. He is getting a pity dopamine hit from the likes, which tricks his brain into thinking the work is already done. Caleb enters his blackout phase. He deletes the apps. He stops the vlog-style updates. He decides that if he's going to be a main character, he's going to be the one from a gritty thriller, not a rom-com. The kind of character who disappears into the winter arc and reappears unrecognizable. He stops trying to make his life look like a movie and starts making it function like a military operation. Caleb needs a system that doesn't rely on inspiration. He knows that inspiration is a fair-weather friend. Discipline is the partner that stays when the lights go out. He builds the Caleb protocol based on 3 pillars. 1. The non-negotiable binary. In his old life, Caleb's to-do list was a suggestion. Now, it's a law. He identifies 3 non-negotiables every day. These are tasks that must be completed before he is allowed to sleep, eat dinner, or check his messages. There is no "I'll do it tomorrow." In Caleb's new world, tomorrow doesn't exist. There is only the now and the done. 2. Time blocking the ugly hours. Caleb stops working in the afternoon when his energy is high and the sun is out. He starts doing his hardest work between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. He calls these the ugly hours, No music, no aesthetic lighting, just raw, unfiltered output. He realizes that 4 hours of work in the dark is worth 8 hours of work in the pretty light of the afternoon. 3. The boredom threshold. Caleb realizes his attention span has been decimated by short-form brain. He can't focus on a single task for more than 10 minutes without wanting to check something. He begins boredom training. He sits in a chair for 15 minutes a day with no phone, no book, no distraction. He just sits. He is training his brain to tolerate the nothingness so that when he sits down to work, the lack of stimulation doesn't feel like a physical itch. He also realizes that discipline is a physical sport. He stops eating for taste and starts eating for output. He views food as fuel for the machine. He realizes that a sugar crash at 3 p.m. is a failure of discipline, not just a bad mood. He starts tracking his sleep with the same intensity that he used to track his likes. He is optimizing the hardware to support the software. 2 weeks into the protocol, the newness wears off. This is where the romanticizer would quit. The vibe is gone, and all that's left is the grind. Caleb's friends are texting him, asking where he's been. They're at a bar in River North, telling him to live a little and find some balance. Caleb feels the pull. He feels the FOMO, fear of missing out, like a cold hand on his shoulder. But then he remembers why he started. He looks at his old aesthetic photos and realizes they were just a mask for his mediocrity. He was balancing his way into a life he would eventually regret. He develops the stoic response. When he feels the urge to quit, he doesn't fight the feeling. He observes it. He says to himself, "This is the part where the average person quits. This is the part that creates the gap between me and everyone else." He learns to love the suck. He realizes that the suck is the sound of his competition falling behind. He begins to romanticize the discipline itself, rather than the aesthetic. He starts to find beauty in a perfectly executed schedule. He finds beauty in the way his mind feels sharp and ready at 6 a.m. He finds beauty in the stack of completed work on his desk. He realizes that soft living is a luxury for those who have already won. He hasn't won yet. He is still in the accumulation phase. He decides that he doesn't want a balanced life. He wants an extraordinary one. And an extraordinary life requires an unbalanced amount of focus in the beginning. 3 months pass. Caleb finally emerges from his winter arc. He meets his friends for dinner. He doesn't bring up his work. He doesn't talk about his grind. But he doesn't have to. They see it in his eyes. They see it in the way he carries himself. He is leaner, sharper, and more present. When they talk about their stress and their burnout, Caleb listens, but he doesn't join in. He realizes that their burnout is usually just a result of poor discipline. Too many tabs open, too much romanticizing of their own struggles. Caleb has achieved cognitive sovereignty. He is no longer a slave to his moods. If he feels tired, he works anyway. If he feels uninspired, he works anyway. He has decoupled his actions from his emotions. He realizes that the main character isn't the one with the most aesthetic life. It's the one with the most agency. The one who can decide to do something and then actually do it. He looks back at the Caleb from 3 months ago, the one lighting the candle and taking the photo. He realizes that person was a ghost, a digital projection. The person sitting here now is real. He is a weapon. He understands now that discipline is the highest form of self-love. By saying no to the short-term dopamine of the aesthetic and the party, he was saying yes to the long-term freedom of mastery. He has built a life that functions so well he doesn't need to romanticize it to make it bearable. Caleb walks back into his apartment. He doesn't turn on the vibe lighting. He doesn't reach for his phone to record a night routine. He sits down at his minimalist desk. He looks directly at the camera, directly at you. "You're still looking for the spark, aren't you?" he asks. "You're still waiting for the perfect day when the sun hits your desk just right and you finally feel inspired to change your life. That day is never coming, and even if it does, it won't last. Stop trying to make your life look like a movie. Start making it work like a business. Blow out the candle, turn off the lo-fi, put your phone in the other room. The main character isn't the person in the montage. It's the person who does the work when the music stops playing. The world is full of people who romanticize their potential. Be the person who disciplines it into reality. Your winter arc doesn't start next Monday. It doesn't start when you get the new planner. It starts the moment you decide that your future is more important than your vibe. Are you a romanticizer? Or are you a weapon? Choose now.